we have been living in a conditioned state, like I said, for so long, and it's by attaching ourselves to energies outside of us. That's how we've been defining our world and our experience, and it's just not the way that our true nature is. And I'm coming to this too. It's crazy to come, like I was telling someone I knew that came over to visit yesterday about how like we're out of the Piscean age and we're going into the Aquarius age, and it was we fragmented our souls, we descended to come back and ascend. That's what ascending reunifying, reintegrating the fragmented soul pieces, the hurts, the pain, that fragmented the soul in the first place by our choice to descend and to fragment our soul, so we could expand the soul consciousness, so we could explore uncharted territories and become more than we've known and what we are, because we have the capability of being that. And there's the void that is yet to be discovered. There's still so much to find out about ourselves as a soul. And but to come down to a third dimensional density, we fragmented and we split into fragments of our soul, and by doing that, when we separated from God, and we fragmented out from ourselves, and it hurt. It caused pain, it caused trauma to our soul. And then to heal those and overcome those, and then learn from those experiences, and then integrate them and unify them is the main point of that. And it's a lot. Like, I can say that, but that barely scratches the surface of the truth of it. Like the reality of experiencing this experience of expansion of soul consciousness and of soul experience, like that, with the emotional bodies and the mental body and the physical body and the etheric body, by going to such a degree of fragmentation and then coming back, it's a beautiful experience to see for how intricate and complex and unique it is. But it's not for the faint of heart. It is really hard. It hurts. It hurt. That's what my biggest trauma I can feel from the depths of my soul is the separation from God, is my separation from God. When I separated from God, like, it is traumatic to my soul that I did that, even though it was a choice for God. You know what I mean? It was to go into the uncharted territories for God, because the third dimension there's too much information to explain, like, how intricate and how much is going on. It isn't. It's a lot. It'll take a lot more time than this video has to offer at this point. It's what we're doing now is coming from, we're learning to come from within and then go out and experience life and manifest life from our heart, unifying our brain and our heart, our mind heart coherence, by integrating and reunifying our masculine and our feminine, and the hurt within us, and the pain, the fragmentation of our souls, unifying those and bringing it back and becoming whole again, which is a balance act. That's the thing about it. Like, there are beings out there that are unified. The ones in the higher dimensions they're masculine and feminine are unified and are working in coherence with each other, where ours is, we actually have to balance ours, that's what makes us beautiful. Like I said, that's what makes us really cool, is that it's really hard, though. I mean, like, this isn't, that's why we got to give ourselves that. We have to give ourselves give ourselves mercy and give ourselves grace, give ourselves grace. That's the main thing, is because we're in an area where we aren't unified. And so we have to bring our parts together and balance them to unify them. But we have to keep them in that balance by maintaining that balance, is what it is. You know what I mean? And so it's not we could be to the left, or to the left for a little while, to the right for a little while, but we have to, maintaining the balance is key. But it isn't, we're not completely unified right now. But that's, like I said, that's the cool thing about it, is that we have the ability to do both, and come together, and then bring our choices together, and unify them by our own free will, and then choose the right thing and choose what we want in that decision. And there's so many choices, like I said, and there is no good or bad. That's dualistic thinking. That's false. It's judgment and limited perception, is what it is. That only limits the definition of your experience. And we really are limitless. We can do so much. The limits that are in place in our existence are placed there by us, because it's by limited framework, mind frame. And it isn't anything, like I said, we were conditioned to believe a lot of it, mainly You know what I mean? And so we have to recognize that conditioning that's false. And then we have to stop, recognize it, and then stop it, and then rewrite it. But we have the power to do that. We do. Like, in the first place, that we were even able to be conditioned into such a framework means that we can uncondition ourselves out of that framework and then reapply a different framework. And so, but it's so crazy, because we are not, our true form and our true nature of living and experiencing this life, this manifestation of life, is not the way it's coming into that. Like, there's souls and beings like me that are here to show the way of how to live from the heart, and to have brain or mind heart coherence. And that's the emotional bodies, or that's all the bodies, the emotional, the mental, and the physical, and the etheric, that are in line, and you're making a decision based on that. And it's through that balance, like I said, it's by acknowledging both sides, and being honest with oneself, and being authentic and true to oneself, that unifies them and keeps them on a frequency of truth, of their own truth, which is it's defined by truth. And so but then living from that, coming from within us and manifesting out. It isn't by anything outside of us. That's all false. It's all bullshit. It doesn't work that way. We have to learn how to balance from within, and then live from that area, from that balance, and we will attain every possible happiness that's possible. We will. But it's so far from what we've known. It really, really is. And we just need to remember to give ourselves grace, and mercy, and love, and forgiveness, and others forgiveness, and because it's a crazy experience. It really is. And the judging of and limiting and all that kind of stuff is false, and so it's got to go. It doesn't help us. It doesn't help any one of us, not one. Not one person. It doesn't. And so, like, to judge something, it just puts limits on it. It just puts limits, and that's what I was telling my friend, my the person that I knew that came over and visited me yesterday. I was telling him about it yesterday, and he's still in the matrix himself, and so it's hard to explain. That's the hardest thing for me right now, is that I'm damn near fully, like, awakened, if I'm not already fully awakened, and to see and know the existence of existence through an awakened state, and still be able to be a 3D expression, and be around, like, the mind frames of that, is hard to do, because it's hard to explain to other people. I'm trying my best with these videos, you know what I mean, and to bring enlightenment and awakening to all of us in the ways that I have learned myself. And I mean, I'm not, I ain't pro, even though I've had lifetimes of this I've been training for. Come to find out. And so that's what I mean. That's why it was easy for me to come to it, is because I have had many incarnations where I learned these lessons, and I learned these truths. So I was able to incorporate them easier into this experience when I was able to face the things that I needed to face. And so that it helps. It helps. But it's really hard to explain and to implement. Well, it's not hard to implement, not for me anyway, but a little bit, because I don't have it's hard to be an awakened soul around a lot of unawakened soul, or like, and there's levels of awakenings, or awakened souls, you know what I mean? Like, but how awakened I am is rough, because I can't explain, like, what I know and how I know it, because nobody understands it. Because when you live and you're worried about the outside, and you're living with your energetic attachments to the outside world, you're in a self-perception. That's where the ego comes in. That's where you only see things from the ego, and from a extremely limited perception. When you become awakened, you see your experience is based off of everyone's perception. It's based off of the whole. It's what is good for whole. And by you embodying the truest and most authentic version of yourself, and being true to yourself, because you show yourself self-respect and self-love that you would want someone else to show themselves. That's how you embody the change, just like Buddha said, embody the change that, or Gandhi, that you want the world to be. You have to embody it, because that's how, and that's the way that it is. That honestly is the way that we work. We're pretty stubborn that way. You know what I mean? Like, we can't, you can tell somebody till you're blue in the face how to do something, but if they're not receptive and open to hearing it, then it's a waste of time or end energy to even explain. And that's where wisdom comes in. Like, you can't explain something if somebody isn't ready to hear it. And so instead you just be it, and then they'll see with their own eyes that what it's like when you embody that change. And that's what I'm my dedication and my purpose and my is to be the change for the world that I want the world to be, that I want everyone, the happiness that I want, the peace, the understanding, the empathy, the compassion, the kindness, the forgiveness. I'm embodying all that, and it's a choice. It's a choice, and that's what makes free will choice so amazing. Is because I could be angry, and I've been through a lot of shit that is hurtful, but it taught me how to love, actually, instead, how I wanted it to be, not and how I didn't want to be. And because the ways that I didn't want to be were the ways that would keep me unhappy, and I knew that. I could see that. And so, but the thing is, like, we're changing this whole paradigm, as they call it, and it's going to be a brain, a heart mind coherent manifestation living is what we're going to do. That's what the Aquarian age, and nothing's linear, nothing's one or done. We're very complex and intricate beings, and so, like, to think it's linear is false. And so, because that's what I mean, there's so many ways, so many ways, so many ways, so many ways things can happen. And we're a conditioned type of species, and so repetitive, it takes time, or repetition, for us to learn new behaviors and to be in different ways, and especially when we've been conditioned otherwise. And that's all we've known. Familiarity is something that we, like, that's an ego thing. Ego wants to have things familiar and things comfortable and stuff like that, even if the truth of it is that one is suffering more by being comfortable and familiar. Like, they might not see it that way, though, because ego makes it hard to be able to see that kind of stuff, because then they would know that they're not actually comfortable and familiar in a familiar setting, or that they're just in a familiar setting, but they're actually unhappy. And ego's a tool. You have to be able to utilize it for yourself in a good way, in a positive way that benefits you in the long run, and the overall. And so, you have to be able to take that bird's eye perspective, that objective perspective in your life, and see when something, whether it's comfortable and familiar or not, if it's not helping, it's not helping. If it's keeping you in a place where you don't go anywhere, or you don't do anything, and you don't like that, then, you have to be able to take that objective view and see. And that's what we've all got to do. These things, we've got to look at the things that keep us stuck, the things that keep us from living the life that we actually truly desire. And we all do. That's the thing, that I was watching a video yesterday, and it doesn't, that's why I can see, I do have, like, God's eyes. Like I said, it's where you see God in everyone, and you can see the pain in everyone, and you can see how they're human, how everyone's human and has their own pain and has their own trials and tribulations in life. But I can also see how every existence yearns for love in one way or another, whether it's with their pets, whatever way we all love. Even a sociopath loves. I don't care. They might not have empathy, but they can love. You know what I mean? And that's where you get them. That's where you can get them back on track. I see this one. I'm a hopeless optimist, as they say, but it's a hopeful optimist, because I believe in us. I really do. I've seen, we're all human, and we all desire to be loved, and we all desire to love, and that's honestly what we all deep down want. All of us. We try and fill it with this and that and the other thing that we were conditioned and maybe taught by previous generations to that was the way, how to do it, how to cope with not having that love in our lives. But it never did fix it. If they look back on their lives, if you look back on your life, and you tried to fill the emptiness of not having love with something outside of yourself, it never works. And more often than not, it causes more problems and more problems and more negativity than you want. But it never creates that love. It never fills that void. Yeah, but it's gonna be a rough road, like it really will, but it doesn't mean it's not hopeless. And that's what someone like me is here to convey, is that it's possible. We can do this. We really can. We have the ability. We are strong enough to be able to come out of the pain and the hurt and the suffering that we've all endured for a very long time, because we all just desire love and want love. Well, we got to get rid of all the things that are in the way of that. And the only way we can do that is by looking at them and acknowledging them and facing them head on and seeing what they're about, and not being afraid of them, and not being afraid to get out of our comfort zone or our familiarity, to explore how to find our love within ourselves, to fill that love within ourselves, for ourselves, and it's nothing outside of ourselves, not finding a partner, not, it's inside of us. That's where all the problems exist. That's where all the problems have to be taken care of, to get rid. When you get rid of those problems, all you have left is actually love, because we're made of love. The problems were the separation and the illusions to that love. They were barriers and blockages to that love, but underneath it all, we are love. We are, like, that. Our core essence is love and light. And so we have put the layers, we have fragmented, we have put the blockages, the energetic blockages there, by the separation and the illusions. But all we got to do is see them, and all we got to do is look at them, and acknowledge them, and then they'll go away, and then we can be the love that we desire outside of ourselves, within ourselves, and then we don't have to worry about it, and then we're self-fulfilled. Then nothing, it doesn't matter what happens to you. It doesn't matter at all what happens to you, because you still have that peace and love within yourself, and you know it. And that's the truth.